How's it going today, folks? The future of LGS here, Jeremy here. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about the update. Again, just a little bit more on the big tournament that was announced. I don't really have any more news for you as far as the other video. I do, after doing a little bit more research, expect not 1,000 people, but after talking to some people in the community, honestly, the requirement to get into a tournament is actually harder than I originally thought. I am working out something to try to get a tournament locally for myself, and hopefully lots of other people are able to do this. But the biggest thing I want to talk about today is I learned a lot about the game in this past week. I have been doing research on the mechanics. I have been doing research on the wilderness cards and what I think will be really good. Honestly, I don't know exactly what will be the best. It's far too early to tell, but we will kind of mostly talk. I don't need these for Cryptid Nation Second Edition packs. I don't know what I am thinking, but we will just get right into it, and hopefully we can get some good cards. We will be doing. We might be doing some deck building, but I know we will be talking about the meta and what is good. I am going to order it. I have not ordered my wilderness yet, but I do plan on getting some, hopefully as soon as possible. But yeah, overall, I think that they are really interesting mechanics. I got some smaller cases, unfortunately. Probably perfect fits or maybe Yu-Gi-Oh size. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have so many sleeves that are just kind of hodgepodge together sometimes, but anyways, some really interesting mechanics to me. Nice, the Death Beam is Paralyze, obviously with I can't pronounce the flying guy, Quinn something, I can't pronounce it, like I said, is very powerful, and that is obviously one of the more strong decks pre-wilderness, and I just think Paralyze is a very interesting mechanic. I'm not a huge fan of having to flip coins for things, and I'm realizing that's kind of a big part of metazoo. I'm not really a big fan of randomization in most card games. I feel like there's a kind of a time and a place for it, but honestly, I'm not a big fan of like, oh, roll a dice to get this effect, or win the game if you roll a 20-sided dice. I know there's cards in Magic that are like that. And you win the game if you get nice or reverse Mothman. Not the greatest, but it's a Mothman. But overall, I think that Paralyze is probably one of the more interesting mechanics to me. Nice, Forest God's Amber. I really have underestimated how powerful these artifacts are. So I'm pretty happy that I have so many artifacts. Not necessarily in Cryptid Nation 1 anymore, but 2, obviously that's a good one too. Unbending Fire Crystal, because you can run 2 of these per spellbook, and in Wilderness there actually is a card, I believe it's called Prism of Light or Prism of something, that is generates of every color, so that card is going to be very popular. So we just got 3 artifacts in a row after talking about them. That card will be very popular in Wilderness, probably will be in every deck that plays multicolor, because, you know, why not? It generates mana of every color, and even if you're splashing other cards that just happen when you get your prisms off, that seems pretty good. One thing that I don't really like is that, so there is a lot of cards that cost 0 that have a color restriction, and those color restrictions, you would think that you'd have to have like at least that mana in play. You do not. So we'll see if I don't know how many 0 cost cards there are that aren't neutral. But like, for instance, there's a card in Wilderness that is blue and it's very strong, but you don't need to play blue in order to, you know, kind of, oh nice, a beautiful full hall Mothman. So far, pretty good box, I would say. Ooh, that damage card now. Just kidding. But overall, I think that that is very interesting to me, that you don't have to. And I think it's a little unfortunate because it just allows all the broken cards to be played in one deck, which I like, but it's not necessarily the best for the meta. Kind of switching gears just a little bit on metazoo. The market has reacted differently than I thought. Like we said in last week's video, I really thought that this would drastically affect the market, and so far the market is still drifting downward. I don't know if it's the players or the other people just don't really care, but the prices on first edition boxes are I mean, I'm seeing more and more people selling them for about $750. It must be Quetzal, because this is the chibi version. Quetzalcoatlus or something like that. The lightning person that we were talking about earlier in the video. But anyways, on the market side, it's really interesting that the market is not taking really well to the tournament. I honestly thought that we would see a big uptick in the market on not only Wilderness, but obviously singles that are playable. I am also in the process of obtaining some singles that are more powerful that I like for my specific type of deck that I want to run. I'm not going to reveal that quite yet. We might as we get closer if I feel more confident about it, but I'm not especially sure on what I'm playing yet. I think it's far too early to tell. I still have not personally played a game, but I am hoping that I will be able to play some games soon. Oops, I did sleeve that. So I would say so far this box opening has been fairly good. We got a lot of artifacts. Haven't gotten a Chaos Crystal. However, we did get 2 Mothmans, a Reverse Hollow, as well as a lot of artifacts, so I am very happy about that. Haven't pulled a lot of Obnoxious 9s, but we still got a good amount of boxes left, or a good amount of packs left, so I will take it as we can get it. I really need to go more through the packs, and like go through like, okay, this card is very playable. Okay, so here's an example. Obviously, like, pretend this card was a flame. If this was a flame, you would not need to play it in a flame deck in order to play the card, which I think personally is not right. But that's the way. That's funny. Another duplicate. But that's kind of how it is, and just the way it is, I guess. But we got about 7-8 packs left. Overall, like I said, I am very excited to bring you guys some competitive content. We might do reviews of the Wilderness cards. I'm not 100% sure. I think that honestly has been very covered already. I personally have been watching some YouTubers that have covered the content, and I think they did a very good job. And one of those I will shout out. I think they are doing a wonderful job. It's the Meta Bros. If you guys want to search them, it's Meta and literally Bros with a Z. They have very detailed content, excuse me, on what is being revealed and stuff like that. And I don't know if they stream, but just kind of giving them a little shout out. But overall, I think that there are a lot of content creators that are doing really well on putting the Wilderness stuff out, and I don't feel like I know enough about the game yet to do that. Probably for UFO we will do that, but right now I just don't feel confident enough to say, oh, this card will for sure be broken, just based on my conjecture. Another Chaos Potion. There are certain cards that, I mean, I read and I'm like, okay, that card is just broken. And I know that, and everyone else knows that it will be very played. So far, I would say, like we were talking about, I believe it is that one water card. It basically reduces traits. I can't think of what it's called. It's some sort of potion that costs 0, and it's a water. Wow, we're getting tons of sewer alligators in this box. But last 3 packs. Hopefully this is a blue ink, obviously, but judging on our time, depending on what we get in that box topper, maybe we'll go into another box, because I do want to get a lot of these boxes open. I did have a lot of them that I was hopefully looking to sell for singles, but we are looking for a lot of the cards to make sure that we have enough to make decks, because there's going to be a lot of decks that we're going to make. I don't know really what I'm playing yet, but we do want to be able to make every single deck, maybe 2. so 2 of each deck, so that if my friend, I have so far gotten one friend that is going to try playing with me, and we are going to see if we are kind of a match and see if we're both really committed to this. But without further ado, let's get into this box hopper, and if nothing too spicy, we'll get into a second box really quickly. So let's see what we got. We did not get the blue ink, so we will move into another box. We got a nighttime. So really quickly, let me grab that box. So we got to go really quick on this one, so we won't be talking as much about the cards, but we can go into a second box. Excuse the sound. But all right, I got to move stuff over. Keep the Mothman in the middle, the spicy old Mothman. Overall, like I said, I do think that this overall will be good for the game. Like we said in the last video as well, I think this is metazoo putting their money where their mouth is, and it's getting people to say, hey, I believe in this game. I think that we are going to do well both with collectability, because I feel like most people are there with collectability. We have talked a little bit about how the market has downticked quite a bit on collectability, and even myself have said I am kind of second-guessing metazoo. But with this recent kind of double down in their playability or in their compatibility, I honestly do think that they are saying they're putting their money where their mouth is and putting out good faith to their player or the people that both collect and play, and saying, hey, we hear you. We want there to be people playing the game as well as collecting the game, and they are backing that. So I really do think this is probably one of the best things for the game. I think Wilderness, I don't know if it's going to change everything, because like we've said, there are a lot of things about Wilderness. And just like, okay, so I would consider Wilderness very similar to Nightfall. We don't know if it's going to have a chase card. One thing I was actually thinking about earlier today is that I think Wilderness prices will go up. I believe that they have said that there will not be a second edition. And so I believe Wilderness prices are sitting around $130, pretty close to MSRP. And I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy in a basement. But I do advise you, if you are interested in metazoo, playing or collecting, I do recommend you considering getting into it, as long as you have everything else in place. We will have another video coming up soon about kind of what I am doing in my positions in things, so that I can more focus on metazoo. But we'll save that for another video. Got another mermaid scales. More artifacts are always nice. Not getting a lot of obnoxious, which I not really favored for, but we don't have a ton of obnoxious 9s in second edition, and they're not worth too much, but a couple of them are very playable. So we do need to pick up some of them. So, anyways, just kind of getting back into it. As far as the second edition run is, I don't think there'll be a second edition run. Nice, Metal Man. I've heard this card is very, very strong. I don't know for sure, but yeah, I've been doing a little bit of gameplay watch, not a ton, but it's really interesting to see how things react, and like chains and the stack and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't know a ton yet, but I am learning. I think I know almost all the statics effects. Unfortunately for me, I did realize I was studying them from the old rulebook, I believe the Cryptid Nation rulebook, and now in Wilderness, they all changed. So, not the best news for me. I have heard they haven't changed a ton, so, that's kind of how it is. But so far, I would say this box a little underwhelming. We've gotten a couple artifacts, but nothing too spicy yet. We're getting a lot of artifacts, which, like I've said before, is very nice. We do need a lot of them because we want to try lots of decks. I love the way these packs open, like we've said very many times before. Nice Loveland, one of the best cards in the game, in my opinion. It's a little bummer that you can only play 2, but still a very good card. Lakeworth Monster, excuse me. Bookmark a card from your spellbook. Sorry, I'm still very interested in learning like what cards are really playable and what cards are super good. And water, definitely, I will admit, water definitely intrigues me. Not sure if that's what I will go with, but thinking about it, I will say that. Water was obviously very playable in the last meta for those of you who are interested in gameplay. Also, I feel like this is probably one of the biggest staples in the game. If you guys don't know, it's Bookmark. It is bookmark 2 pages from the top of your spellbook, and bookmark means draw. I actually am not a big fan of some of the terminology in the game, just because it's just hard to kind of get in the use of. Like, every card game I've played has said hand or deck or stuff like that, and to get used to spellbook and chapter, I mean, it makes sense thematically. It just doesn't make me the happiest that they have their own terminology for everything, but that's just my opinion. So, so far, again, I would say a little bit below average box opening. We are gonna kick this into fast gear. Actually, we are not gonna sleeve any. I think we're gonna go away from sleeving all these reverse hollows, just for the sake of time. If I get to a certain point, my computer is like, nope, we don't like you doing that. So, gotta be mindful of the time always on these double box openings and longer openings. But overall, I just want to kind of get to this part. I have really been enjoying doing a lot of the metazoo openings, and I want to get news from you guys whether you guys want me to do more metazoo content. And by what I mean by that is possibly go more into more days a week, and to do like maybe a competitive Monday where we talk about a competitive card that we think is going to be good. Because if we do get that, I am open to doing that kind of thing as well as the collection. The premier focus of this channel will probably always be at least a little bit of collecting, but it should be mostly collecting because that's the direction I want for the future of LGS to go. But overall, I do want to do some focus on competitive, and I don't want that to get in the way of the collecting. We will still have lots of content on other TCGs, what I think of them, what my position will be on them. I'm not sure how much more Magic specifically we will do, because Magic, I don't know. I don't know if I didn't market it well or whatever, but not a lot of people enjoyed those Kamigawa boxes, and which honestly very surprised me because Kamigawa has been probably the hottest product of 2022. Nice and obnoxious. But overall, lastly, I just kind of wanted to finish up this video with a big thank you to all of my supporters. I really appreciate everything that you guys do, the comments, the likes, the subscribes, all the subscribes. Every time I see a new subscriber or 2 or 3 or however many we get, I just wanted to let you guys know it is greatly appreciated. I do get a great deal of joy of making content, and I feel very lucky that I am able to make content for you guys. And yeah, we will get into this box topper. No Mothman at all in this box, which is pretty unfortunate, and as well as no Chaos Crystal. So second box, pretty underwhelming. I just don't have the best feeling about this, but we will see if it's a blue ink. And then we will end the video. Let's just get into it without further ado. Oof, I just never like opening these. It just makes me so nervous. I'm gonna guess this is a snowing. It is another nighttime. That is very unfortunate. We don't need more night times, but you know, that's okay. We did get a full haul Mothman. We did get lots of playable cards, I'm sure. So, thanks for watching, and see you in the future.